Okay, we're looking at 8 cards, 8 of the trumps from the from Crowley's Thoth Tarot. I was compelled to make this video based on something I've found in Lon Duquette's book, Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot. On page 92, he says, buried in the Book of Thoth as the last paragraph of his comments on the High Priestess, Crowley reveals a most remarkable secret concerning the fundamental nature of the 22 trumps. And here follows the quote. It is especially to be observed that the 3 consecutive letters, Gimel, Daled, He, or Atu, Atu being Egyptian for key, Atu 2, 3, and 17, show the feminine symbol Yin in 3 forms composing a triune goddess. Okay, and we see those over here on this side. This trinity is immediately followed by the 3 corresponding and complementary fathers. Vav, Zadi, Yud, or Atu, or Ki, 4, 5, and 9. Okay, and we see these over here. The trumps 0 and 1 over there, those 2, are hermaphrodite. The remaining 14 trumps represent these primordial quintessences of being in conjunction, function, or manifestation. Okay, and then we're back to Duquette's own words when he says, if the above leaves you somewhat unexcited, let me get out my Crowley's English dictionary and attempt to translate. 8 trumps, the Fool, Magus, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Hermit, and the Star are a special class of trump. They are primordial quintessences of being. Just for fun, let's call these 8 first-class trumps. These first-class trumps are divided by gender into 3 categories. The Fool and the Magus are hermaphrodite. The High Priestess and the Empress and the Star show the feminine symbol in 3 forms. The Emperor, the Hierophant, and the Hermit show the masculine symbol in 3 forms. These 3 correspond and are complementary to the High Priestess, the Empress, and the Star, though Crowley is not clear how they are paired. Okay, and it's that last phrase that made me want to do this. Crowley is not clear how they are paired. Okay, he is clear in his book that they are and or should be paired, and Crowley does not offer insight onto how they should be so, nor, and this is what I've found frustrating and interesting equally, does Duquette. He does not offer any personal opinions or insights onto how they should be paired. So I got out the cards on reading that, and it seemed immediately clear to me. Now, admittedly, this is just personal. I'm going to make one switch here, and that's how it should be. Okay? Let's look at these more closely now. Fool and the Magus. Okay. Both hermaphrodite. Now let's get to our pairings. Okay, the first pairing I have here, Empress and Emperor. Now, why should these 2 be paired? Because they're the Empress and the Emperor. Look at their postures, okay? Their titles alone make them paired as it is, but their postures reflect one another, and they're looking directly at one another. Even their shields reflect what's happening between them, although one is under the moon, the other the sun. Okay. Our next pairing, Priestess and the Hierophant. These two together, and that's the switch I made, was the Priestess and the Empress. That's the only switch I made. These are the only two that look directly out at us. The Priestess is, of course, Isis in her most spiritual nature or aspect. Okay, the Hierophant. I mean, this is definitely my favorite Hierophant card of all the tarot decks I've ever seen. Look at that very distinctly Babylonian face. I don't know if that's supposed to be Marduk or Hammurabi, or if it matters, but Babylonian. Here he is, calling us to the holy place. His hands in the as above, so below posture. And in doing so, he's calling our attention to the woman with the light, who is here Venus, holding the moon exalted in Taurus, which is the throne of the Hierophant here. And yet we have to keep in mind Venus is really just a later incarnation or version of Isis. Okay, so there's our other connection. Venus is an aspect of Isis. Here's our calling to the holy place. There's our goddess giving the light, and standing behind the veil of light, which is a characteristic, of course, a defining one of Isis. And here is the holy place, and here's Isis working with that light. Okay, again, both of them staring right out at us, unlike the Empress and the Emperor, who stare at each other. Who can blame them? Our last pairing is the Star and the Hermit. Look at their postures. They reflect one another also. The structure of everything going on around him balances the fluidity of the same in her card. Okay, she is the hopefulness inherent in that card and clarity of vision, which is given by the light provided in the Hermit. Now, if you were to superimpose these cards one on the other, it would kind of appear that that sperm figure you see down there in the bottom left of the Hermit card is swimming up into the chalice she's holding down. His focus, of course, there is the Orphic egg. And hers, I can't help but look at that right there. Well, let me go out of focus. Look at these stars. Look at the way those swirlings go with Frida Harris's styles here. See those swirlings of the stars? That reminds me of the Wheel of Hecate, which of course we're reminded of also in this card with the three-headed dog. Hecate and or Persephone. Okay. Thank you for watching.